Right. Awesome.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to an incredible live stream educational event all about creatine and why, as women, we need it. So, I'm here with the founder of Allura Nutrition. We've got Paula. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Hi, Don. Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. I'm super excited to be here to talk about all things creatine for women.
Yes. And by the way, if you're watching right now and you're thinking, why do I need creatine? Or I've heard things about creatine, I want to know the benefits, you are in the right place. Now, the first thing you need to know is how to be able to shop the products if you are inspired. This is not going to be a high pressure show, it's education first. But if you are watching on Instagram or Facebook, you're just going to comment shop in the comments, and then you're going to get a DM with the links to order. If you are watching on Talk Shop Live, it's as simple as clicking the shop button. And if you are watching on YouTube, there will be a link in the description. But without further ado, my name is Dawn Chubey. We've got Paula, who is here, who is the founder of Allura Nutrition. Paula, let's start a little bit about your story and why you founded this company and decided to start with creatine specifically to inform and educate women about this incredible, incredible product.
Yes, Don. Thank you for the introduction. It basically all started after I had my baby. I was postpartum and I just felt really low energy. I felt constantly drained. Like I go around my day without energy. Like I would get all my tasks done, take care of my baby, like do laundry, all that stuff, but I never felt fully energized. And I just thought that it was the way that it was going to be from now on because I'm a mom, and I just saw moms that were exhausted all the time. So I'm like, okay, this is what is going to happen now. But, then I heard a researcher on a podcast and she was talking about the benefits of creatine for women. So, not athletes, but just women navigating through life, stress, low energy, and aging. So, yeah, that really caught my attention, because I had never heard of creatine being mentioned that way.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of times when we think of creatine, we think of, okay, you must do it if you're a bodybuilder, or, oh my gosh, like, what is this going to do to my hormones and all of that? And so we're going to debunk some of these myths for you as well. But I wanted to let you know there are over 1,000 studies that include, I'm going to say, controlled trials and obviously meta-analysis for over 30 years and talking about the importance of creatine, not only for muscle strength, mental clarity, but also as we age. Paula, maybe speak to the fact of, as we age, especially women who are, in perimenopause, menopause, how this can help with some of our maybe non-physical functions as well.
That's right. Yeah, it's going to support us at every stage of life because mainly creatine is going to support that ATP generation. So it's going to help you with your energy levels if you feel depleted, if you feel tired, if you have brain fog. And as you were saying, as we age, like we do start to lose that muscle mass with aging. So creatine, what it's going to do is it's going to help you preserve that muscle mass. And it's also going to support your cognitive function and help you with your mental clarity. So it just has so many more benefits beyond the gym. And that's why I love this supplement. Just so many benefits in one.
Yeah, and when I think about, obviously the thousands of studies or over 1,000 studies that have talked about the safety efficacy of creatine, I think it's really important, Paula, to maybe sort of take a step back and let's talk about our own physiology, physical. I don't know what the right word is, but our basically like we actually produce creatine naturally, but I'm going to associate it with like not everybody has like a full battery store, right? Like not everyone is efficient with their creatine. Not everyone produces enough to give them the results like what we see right here: focus, strength, recovery, right?
That's right. Like creatine just has so many benefits and it is a naturally occurring substance within our bodies, but we don't produce as much. We naturally produce 1 to 2 grams, and that is like eaten up very quickly by just doing any task because like we are burning our energy like just by working, thinking, breathing. It's all consuming that energy. And that's how creatine like is going to support you like on your daily life.
So we're checking the comments right now. Hello, we've got Jim Baker who is watching. Thank you for watching. If anyone has
Thanks
any
for watching.
questions, And by the way, just to maybe, I don't want to say elephant in the room, but obviously, you know, this is a creatine that you have created and really sort of made so that it's eye-catching to women. But you know, if your husband goes, honey, you know, you bought the 3 canisters because that was the best deal. I'm going to take a bit of your creatine. Is there any reason why men can't use this particular formulation?
No, no reason at all. Everyone should be taking creatine, as long as we're healthy individuals. If you have any other condition, I do recommend to consult with your doctor, but there's no reason why people shouldn't be taking creatine. Creatine is one of the most studied supplements in the market, and it has been proven safe just for everyone to use. So everyone should be consuming creatine, your hubby, your mom, your grandpa, everyone really. It's
Yeah,
for any age.
exactly. And we're going to talk about how you use this. I actually have my water standing by so that I can show you how this actually incorporates. But I want to let you know, if you are just joining us, welcome. We are on our first live shopping event with Paula and Allura Nutrition. If you are watching on Talk Shop Live, there's going to be a shop button. You're going to click that. If you're watching on Instagram, hello, Instagram friends on both of our channels. It's as simple as commenting shop, and then you will get a DM to check out this product yourself. And if you're watching on Facebook, it's the same. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description. But we wanted really to, Paula, educate people about what creatine is. We've learned just in the few moments that we've been with Paula that, of course, this helps with your focus, your strength, your recovery. I was taking a look at some different studies and different resources that are out there. And by the way, Katie Couric on her channel has just recently also talked about the importance of creatine, talking in particular amongst many other benefits, which we will go through, improving the strength and lean muscle in women, showing cognitive function and mental clarity. And then here's what I love, and this is so important for women that are going through menopause or perimenopause, helping preserve muscle during aging. So Paula, where we would have normally thought, okay, this is for bodybuilders, this is just for supporting your body.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. It just has, there's a lot of misconceptions about creatine that women shouldn't be taking it, that it's just for men because of just how it has been presented over the years. But we are seeing so many more studies being done on women, and where the research is just showing that there are just so many more benefits, beyond what is gym. So that's why we're here to share with everyone, and that's intentionally why we made this creatine this way. So as a woman wouldn't be intimidated in taking creatine because it's for everyone, right? So
Yeah. And remember, Paula has just talked about her personal story. I see Isabella Stark is watching on our channel right here on Instagram. So Isabella, thank you for the question. First time here. We're so glad that you are here. Wants to know how is creatine made, and she talks about ingredients. So I think we need to backtrack possibly for Isabel. I thought maybe I said Isabella, but Isabel, to really talk about, first of all, creatine naturally occurs in our body. So there's that. Now, let's maybe talk quickly about some of the natural, meaning consumable foods we might eat that help, you know, produce creatine. And then let's talk about the formulation you've created and why this, I'm going to say, is probably the most efficient way, but also at the end of the day, when you think about what it takes to, promote it in your body with the food you eat, groceries are darn expensive. So let's maybe backtrack. First of all, our body creates it. Secondly, talk about this formulation for Isabel.
yeah, so our body naturally creates creatine, but as I was saying earlier, we don't produce enough creatine for us to support that energy demand, right? So that is how creatine works. And creatine is also found in red meats and also in fish. But I mean, in order to get your creatine intake, which is the 5 grams, that's the recommended dose, you would have to be eating a couple pounds of red meat and a couple pounds of fish. So, like, I surely don't want to do that. I don't know if you guys do. But
That's why I say
that's
groceries are expensive.
that's right. Yeah.
Um, I was just looking at Katie Couric Media, and again, I just found this when I was searching today. And one of the I guess the editorial or the editor wrote in here, it's part of their personal health toolkit because they are focusing on increasing muscle mass. And it also, again, reiterates what Paolo just said, talks about how, it's present in some of the foods that we eat, like meat and seafood, and it serves as energy for our muscles. So it talks very intently, Paula, about this being energy currency. And so I encourage you to take a look at what we've offered. We've offered actually 3 ways for you to pick this up. You can pick it up on a trial, like an entry level pricing at $24.99. We've got 2 months, which again gets you set up for consistency, and we'll talk about the importance of that as well, at $44.99. And then your best value is a 3-month supply, which ends up saving you in total about $10, $11 versus purchasing individually. So let's talk first of all about how we use it, and then we'll talk about how often. So I've got already preloaded in my glass here, Paula, using the scoop that comes with, so everyone gets the scoop, and I just, for efficiency, I went and put it in my glass. So tell me how we're doing this.
It's super easy to take. Like, creatine doesn't have to be complicated. It's super easy to take. All you have to do is take 1 scoop and mix it in your water or your drink of choice. This creatine is flavorless and it's also micronized, so it's gonna mix in well with your water. It's gonna mix in well with whatever you like, your drink of choice. You can even put it in food, and it's gonna dissolve in the water. I don't know if you guys have tried creatine before, but creatine is usually gritty at the bottom and has like a chalky taste. So our creatine doesn't do any of that. No, it's pure creatine. It's flavorless, easy to add to your daily routine. And for me, I just like to take it in the morning, but you can take it at whatever time of the day. I think, Don, what matters here the most is that we stay consistent, right? And we take it every day to see those benefits, because creatine works by saturation. So it works by saturation in the body. And it takes about 2 weeks for your body to fully saturate with those creatine stores. So it's more important to be consistent than the actual timing of when we're taking the creatine.
Okay, so I just put this, if you're just joining us, I just mixed my 1 scoop of creatine and water. Now it does have, just full disclosure, it has like a cloudy look, right, relative to water. What I can tell you is that I don't see any kind of little granules. Like if I were to hold this up to sunlight, I mean, it would be cloudy, but I don't see anything. So the real test is to see, like, am I tasting something? Is there a different, like, is it a jelly texture? Like, what do I need to be scared of? Let me try for you here.
Let us know, Don.
It's the consistency of water. It tastes like water. A little bit cloudy. That's about it, but you're going to easily drink this. Now, earlier today, I'm going to tell you, Paula, is I've been kind of on a bit of like a little pomegranate juice kick, but I don't want to drink a whole glass of pomegranate juice. But I also thought, like, gosh, like I kind of like, maybe you're like, well, I kind of want to fool everybody. I don't want to put a little something in it. Like I just put a drop of pomegranate juice, and then now it's got a little flavor, because here's the thing. This is unflavored. And not everybody, like, listen, I have a hard enough time drinking water. Maybe you do as well, because like I feel like I need a little something in there. If you want to put a little flavor in here, add a drop of your favorite juice, right? So, and you also talk about, Paula, the fact that you can actually put this in your soup, stews, if that's more convenient, correct?
Yes, you can put it in whatever like drink you'd like, or mix it in with your food. Like, it's completely food safe, and since it's micronized, it dissolves better, but it actually absorbs better by your body. So your body's gonna absorb that even better because it is micronized. So it's optimized for better absorption in the body, which is what we need, right? So we get the full benefits of creatine.
So we've talked a bit about the science behind it, and there was such a great, and the science, meaning it's part of our biology as it is. But as far as science goes, like, this really is proven to give you, results that maybe you've been lacking. So maybe just for anyone that's just joining us, maybe Jim Baker, maybe Isabel, anybody else that's here, talk about what creatine is and what it actually does in our body. So what we really want to know is the end result. Like, how are we going to feel? What is this going to do for us, Paula?
That's right. So, well, first I'm just going to talk about what creatine is. As we talked earlier, it's a naturally occurring substance in your body. And the main function of creatine is to support your ATP production. And that is your body's primary energy molecule. So I just think every time you move, you're thinking, recovering, or even just going about your day, that's your ATP at work and you're using up all that energy. So the function of creatine is to help you recycle and regenerate that energy more efficiently. I like to think of it as this way, like a very simple science. Like think of your body like a phone. ATP is your battery and creatine is your charger. So you're basically charging your phone to get energized, like to get the battery to, and for women, like that means that you're going to feel more energized throughout your day. That's like the number one key benefit because that's what it does at a cellular level. We can't see it, but that's what's happening in your body. And it's not like coffee energy that you get a spike. This is constant energy. So you're going to feel energized throughout your day constantly. And like apart from the energy, another thing is that it's going to improve your strength. Well, if you pair it with resistance training, it's going to help you lift more and recover faster because creatine is also it helps you with your recovery. So like you're not going to feel as sore from the gym if you do work out, but if you also have a physical high demanding job, you're also like using your muscles, right? And they need to recover the same way. So creatine reduces inflammation in the muscle, and like a very, really important thing for me is that it helps you with the lean mass prevention as we age, right? Because we start to lose that lean mass as we age, and creatine is helping you preserve that. And another thing, just as lastly, it's going to help you with your cognitive function. So that was key for me. Just to stay sharp, it's going to help with your mental clarity. So those are that's what science is telling us that creatine does for you.
Yeah. And it's, by the way, I've been sipping it and sipping it, and it's great. I wanted to go back to what you said about the battery. And it just occurred to me, like, here's the thing too, as we age, just like an old phone, there's a point where your battery doesn't charge to full level. You know what I'm talking about, right? You
That's
know what
right.
happens when you have like the old iPhone 11, it only charges to like 70%, right? Whereas your new iPhone 17, it charges to 100%. So as we age, our battery also hits a bit of a max level, which is why when you talk about that creatine and how important it is, again, to essentially charge up our body so that we can have the mental clarity, so that our muscles can, work optimally, so we can recover quicker, especially as we get older. It's harder to recover. It's so important to have something that supports it. Now remember, we actually already do create creatine in our bodies naturally, but there is going to at some point be either a depletion, or you're not optimal, or again, you age. So this is going to help fill the gap. And again, Allura Nutrition, Paula is here talking about her why of creating something that, first of all, yes, you didn't invent creatine, but you have made it so that women understand that this is more than like bodybuilders. This is about creating something that supports our health and that is women founded. Now, I want to talk also about this particular, you talk about this with Creative Valis. What does that say? And what is it?
Crea Vitalis. That's
Okay.
our quality seal from Crea Vitalis. So we just want to be transparent with everything we do, and that's why we included like our seal, so you know where your creatine is manufactured. Basically, our creatine is manufactured in Germany by a company called Alchem Group, and they have a patented process to manufacture the creatine under very, very strict process controls. That way, the creatine is made without any unwanted byproducts that are commonly found in other creatines on the market. So that is considered the gold standard for creatine, Creavitalis, and it's also used in a lot of the clinical studies that have been done on creatine. So that is why we picked that, because if you're going to be consuming something every day and putting it into your body, done, it really matters. Well, the quality really, really matters.
It sure does. Isabel, Jim is here. I see a number of you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link right in the description for you to be able to shop either our 1, 2, or 3 pack. The best value is the 3, but we do have an entry level price for you to be able to try this. All you have to do is click the link in the description. If you're watching on Facebook and Instagram, hello everybody. It's just a little bit higher. So, you can go ahead and type shop. in the comments and we'll send you a DM to the products. And of course, if you are watching on Talk Shop Live, hello, we see you here. There's a little button that just says shop and you just go ahead and have to click it. I want to talk also about the importance of third-party testing. Paula, I have worked at the shopping channel. I worked at the shopping channel for years and years and years. I worked with a lot of supplements. I worked with a lot of health products in addition to, other things that you sell at the shopping channel and present. And we had to be very, very educated on the things that you can say, that you can talk about, the things that are important, the things that are critical to communicate properly. And it was so important to acknowledge the importance of this right here, third party tested. Now, why is that important? That's important because without it, Paula, you can kind of get anybody saying anything. And this is the way
Right.
this is keeping you honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for us, it was all about making sure that our creatine is the purest there is. That's why we did a third party test it. When the creatine is manufactured, they provide us with testing. But when it comes to the USA, our manufacturer also does third party testing on it just to ensure that what it says here, creatine monohydrate, that's all you're getting. This creatine has no other products. If you look at other ingredients, it has none. So that's why it's very important for us. It's just an extra layer, of comfort. So you can make sure that what you see on the tub is what you're getting.
So if you have any questions, by the way, if you have any questions at all, please go ahead and type in the comments. We've got a nice little merge chat here on Talk Shop Live. So if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, I'll see that question. Give us a hi. Even let us know where you're watching from. We would love to see where you're watching from. And of course, you can also do that on YouTube. We're here to answer your questions and help demystify not only creatine, why it's important, but also help you understand that as women, it is critical to include. And I was going to say, Paula, as a nutritional supplement, but I like to think of it as truly almost like vitamins for our body. Like I always like to think of like, we're not adding something so much as replenishing either what we've lost or filling the gap. Again, if we are not at our primal, top of the line, fully charged battery, this is where our Allure Nutrition balance is about. This is about balance. So if you look at your bottle, it's going to say focus, strength, recovery. This isn't Dawn and Paula just talking about this. There are thousands of published studies that talk about the importance and the efficacy, the safety of creatine. Katie Couric, I just found an article where she has said, how critical it is and part of her toolkit. But I want to talk a bit as well about sort of some of the myths and misconceptions. So this also ties into a little bit about your personal story, Paula.
Oh, yeah, that's how it all started, Don. So after I was postpartum, I just had my first baby like a year and a half ago, but this started a while back. So I had just had my baby, and as the months went by, I still felt tired and low in energy. And, I just thought this is the way it's going to be now because I'm a mom. So, like, I was so used to seeing moms tired, and I was like, all right, so I joined the club, right? I guess this is my destiny. But then I heard a researcher on the podcast. She was talking about the benefits of creatine for women, but not athletes, just women navigating through life, recovery, stress, low energy, and aging. And I went and I did my research. I was like, I've never heard of creatine being talked like that. I thought all the time it was a gym supplement for men. So I went on and did my research, and when I tried to buy a creatine for myself, everything was very heavy branding, big black tubs, very gym bro energy. Yeah, muscle and all that. And I'm like, oh, I guess I don't know. Like, should I be taking this as a woman? Like, so, but the researcher had told me that it was gonna help me with my energy, and that's what I was determined. So I kept doing my research, and that's when I learned that women have lower creatine stores than men, and that the creatine monohydrate has been studied for over 30 years. So it's safe for women, and women even benefit much more than men taking it. So that's how it all started. I just decided to build my own, just to bring awareness to all the women, and just to bring clean supplements, simple, because it doesn't have to be complicated. Taking creatine is the easiest thing ever, right? So it just mix, stir, drink. That's it.
Exactly. And I'm just for the purpose of the demonstration. And the one scoop is essentially I'm going to say the recommended amount, correct? Which is what, five grams?
5 grams, yes,
5 grams.
that's recommended.
So if you're just joining us, oh, and Isabel, thank you for your comment. She says, I appreciate the third-party testing and EU gold standard. Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Isabel.
and especially in this world, and listen, I don't want to trash other platforms and all that kind of stuff, but it can be hard to trust products that you're shopping with on sometimes the internet, and when you're doom scrolling at 3 a.m. But third party tested is so important. You're looking at, again, a female founded brand, a person who has made this their mission to be able to make sure that you feel your very best, from, again, recovery, muscle strength, muscle retention, but also your cognitive function, your mental clarity. Now, I just went and put in, again, I had already pre-measured one, and I haven't finished my other one, so I'm not going to OD on creatine. At some point, you sort of hit a max, and so we just don't want you to waste your tub, but I'm demonstrating. So you're going to notice I just put it right in water, and this is the main reason you made it unflavored, right? So that people could just drink their water, but also so that it wouldn't interfere if you were putting it in other beverages.
That's right. Yeah, that's the reason we made it unflavored. Because sometimes you just don't want to drink the same flavor every day. You kind of get tired. So with this, you have the flexibility of mixing it in whatever drink you want. You can add it to your smoothie, your protein shake, just water. Like I personally just take it with water. It's just super easy and it's flavorless. As we mentioned earlier, it's also micronized. So the creatine is going to dissolve. Like it's not going to be gritty at the bottom or taste chalky. Like you're not going to have any of that.
It
But
doesn't.
yeah, to give you that flexibility, that's how we made it. That's why we made it unflavored. And
Yeah, and you
we
go
also
ahead.
didn't want to add any sugars or
Right.
anything because we already have enough things putting in our body, like lots of sugar. So why add sugar to a supplement? That makes no
Yeah.
sense.
That being said, I have a hard enough time drinking water. Like I'm the person that puts the little squeeze of the Mio or whatever. So today, all I did is I wanted to try this before. First of all, no, it looks cloudy, but you don't taste anything. There's not a weird texture. Like you would honestly, if you had your eyes closed, you would never know if you did a taste test against water. But I just thought, hey, what would happen if I put a little of my, pomegranate juice in there, just a drop, to make it look fancy. Honestly, it's great either way, but if you do want to put it in your soup or whatever, just put it in your individual bowl, not the pot, because again, you
Yes.
want to make sure you're getting the right amount. Or of course, you can go ahead and put it in your juice. I wanted to maybe just read a testimonial here, by the way. And if you are watching, thank you. I see many of you are starting to join us. This is our first show with Allura Nutrition, and Paula is the founder. We welcome you. We are answering your questions. If you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, hi, we see you. You're just up in a different camera.
Yeah.
Comment shop and we'll DM you the link to our incredible balance creatine. Again, focusing on women, but this is really for anybody. So if you're a guy watching, you're like, I want that yes, you can have this one as well. We also are on Talk Shop Live. You just click the shop button, and of course we're on YouTube, and you'll see the link in the description. But I wanted to read. Now, of course, I wish creatine helped me with my eyesight because I printed these way too small. But let's see if I can get it. Okay. Okay, this is the only creatine I use. I love that it's a clean formula, 5 grams. So it's all pre-measured, which is great. No unnecessary ingredients. By the way, exclusive 5-star reviews. Another shopper said, this is from Emily. The creatine supplement is excellent quality, helps improve strength and performance during workouts, contributes to a faster recovery after intense workout. Let me tell you, I agree, Emily. The older you get, it's harder to recover from a lot of things. And Paula, I think that this is like an important thing to note, is that you're not even really adding another task in your day. You have to drink water. Or
Yeah.
if you want to drink coffee, like put it into your drink of choice. And what would you say is the best time of day to take your 5 grams, which is 1 scoop?
Right. That's a great question, Don. So the best time of day, it doesn't really matter what time of the day you take it. So that's a great thing about this. So you don't have to set an alarm and take it each time at the same day. But for consistency purposes, because as I mentioned earlier, that creatine works by saturating your creatine stores, right? So that takes about 14 days to happen. And what matters here is that you're staying consistent to see those results and to feel that energy, to get all the benefits from creatine. Because if you're not taking it consistent, then you're not going to fill up those creatine stores.
Yeah, and so if you've just joined us, let's think about this logistically and logically. So our body, produces a lot of things. I mean, if you think about even collagen, Paula, we produce collagen naturally, and yet what do? We buy lotions and potions, and to help with our collagen. And some of us ingest collagen to stimulate collagen production. I mean, that's what helps us go from a grape or from a raisin to a grape, right? Because we same fruit, right? Grape turns into a raisin. So if we think of creatine in the same sort of mindset, is that we already have it, but we maybe don't have equal stores. Like Dawn might produce lots of
Right.
creatine, but still short of the full battery level, and Paula might produce less, or vice versa. So what this does is this gives us an even playing field so that we can benefit, right?
That's right. Yeah, it works for all women, all ages, and that's just how it's gonna work for you. For
Yeah, and
everyone, because our creatine stores are all different, but us as women, we have lower creatine stores than men. So like our creatine store levels are smaller basically, and you're consuming that energy, you're not getting enough, you produce that creatine, but we're not producing enough to supplement with all that energy, that requirements that we have.
yeah, and I always think, and I encountered this when I was working at the shopping channel as well. Sometimes people think, Paula, that they're cheating if they don't just do everything with food, whole food. And listen, if you've got the stomach to have as much red meat and seafood as you need to again replenish, or the pocketbook, because we know groceries are very, very expensive. But it's also just not reasonable for most people to get what they need purely from whole foods, right? If it were that simple, we'd all do it. And then you deal with different dietary restrictions and all the reasons why people can't, you know. And I would imagine in some respects, vegans probably have a little bit of a different challenge. I mean, of course, there's still whole food opportunities, but it becomes again another sort of consideration. So what I love about this is you're getting your tub here. And by the way, we have an entry level price for one, $24.99. Then you get two, which again offers you a bit of a break. The best value without question is the 3 month. So one of these will last you 3 months. The scoop comes right in it. If you are watching the replay, you're still going to be able to get this. You just click the shop button if you're on Talk Shop Live. And for the next week, you'll be able to just type shop if you're watching on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, on YouTube, you can just click the link in the description to get this incredible value. But what I love is you've really made it sort of booth proof. Paula, the pouch that comes in there, you're going to take and throw out. That's just to kind of make sure there's no moisture and all
Yes.
that. You get the scoop right in it. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So that's all you need all day long. And do you recommend, Paula, doing that all at once, or should we be breaking up that scoop, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter, like, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you wanna start maybe with half a scoop and then the other half a scoop as you get comfortable with it, but it doesn't really matter how you take it. Just make sure that you are taking the full scoop every day. As I mentioned, that it works by saturation and by being consistent, so all you need is 1 scoop a day, that's all.
So we talk about the how this helps with mental clarity. The immediate thing I think of at 53 years old, Paula, is perimenopause. I mean, I almost had it right there. They call it brain fog. Again, part
Mm.
of these studies talk about how this does help with brain fog, but it also talks about mood resilience, supporting brain energy. So maybe talk about, from some of your customers and some of the feedback you've received or even experienced yourself, talk about maybe about how this does sort of equalize maybe things like your moods in some respects.
Yeah, well, definitely by having more energy, like your body is going to feel better overall. And like even for me, I used to have brain fog and the mom brain, I thought, and after I started taking the creatine and consistently for about 2 weeks, that's when I started to really like see those cognitive benefits. Like I'm more focused, like I'm not forgetting things like before. And that's for me really important because I can just show up, I can show up like myself and not be drained. Because if you're not performing, like if you don't have that energy, you're not going to perform at your best. So for me, it has like had all those great benefits. And also, I recently started doing resistance training. So, yeah, I am seeing that muscle tone as well. And just, I feel stronger than before. But I mean, my grandma is like my number one customer, and she's 75. She takes the creatine, and she just, like, what I saw in her, like, she was taking naps during the day. And I mean, after she started taking the creatine for a few weeks, she just wasn't taking those naps anymore. Like, we were
Yeah.
going on walks, she was feeling more energized. So
How old's your grandma?
she's 75.
75. Wow.
Yes.
I mean, think about it too. And is grandma in good shape? Does she exercise or is she, yeah?
She just goes for her daily walks,
Just
like,
walks. So she's not a
just walks.
bodybuilder.
No, not at all. No.
So you don't, so here's the point. Here was the point I was trying to make, because like your 75-year-old grandma, 53-year-old Dawn isn't super active. Um, but what you're saying is that even if, I mean, obviously everyone is always going to get optimal benefits with everything when you do a full circle on your health and wellness, right? Diet, nutrition, your nutrition, your exercise, and all of that. But I always like to present products like this, and especially when we're dealing with creatine, which again, we naturally produce in our body, but just at different levels. And women have less stores than men, just historically. But I always like to say, even if you changed nothing else, like even if Dawn, who is Dawn today, wakes up as Dawn tomorrow and starts with creatine, or Isabel, who's watching, or Jim, or anybody that's watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Talk Shop, again, where you just press click to shop, I like to say that even if you did nothing else, Paula, should we feel a difference? And then the second question is, when we feel the difference, what is the likelihood we might also be more motivated, more energized, and maybe able to pursue our other goals?
That's right. Yeah. Well, when you take creatine, the main difference, even if you don't go to the gym at all, is that you're going to feel more energized. So you're going to feel more energized to go about your day, and it's going to support your cognitive function, because that creatine goes to the brain, goes straight to the brain. It's going to help with your mental clarity. And those are things that you are going to notice, like, you're going to feel more energized. But another thing that you don't feel, but it's actually also happening, is that the creatine is helping you with your lean mass preservation. Because, Don, as you were saying, as we age, like, we're not producing the things as we were before. And those are the benefits that you're going to feel from creatine, even if you don't work out.
So it sparked something in me just now, Paula. And by no means, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just going to use my common sense here, because we talk about preserving lean muscle mass. So we're not even right now in this particular comment talking about building it. We're talking about keeping what we have.
Hmm.
And there's a little, injection that people are doing out there nowadays that tends to, one of the downsides. And listen, I'm not judging anybody that does injections on certain medications. You do you. I support whatever makes everybody happy. But it is well known and well documented that you do lose lean muscle mass with that. And even when you're working out, it's part of the downside. And maybe you're getting more upside, and that's fine. So I'm going to say, without again needing a qualification or even talk to your doctor, but I'm going to assume that this is going to help preserve, which we know is so important, because muscle burns more than fat, Paula. So as we
That's
age,
right.
we need that lean muscle mass. Like, we think, oh, just get as skinny as you want. And we forget, like, no, we need lean muscle mass. That's important.
It's very important. Yeah, it's super important. And actually, people who are on the shot, they take creatine to exactly do that, preserve that lean muscle mass. So it's widely known and now used for that as well.
Yeah, it's an incredible product. There are, again, exclusive 5-star reviews that I have right here. Again, an incredible brand. This is Allura Nutrition. We're with the founder, Paula. My name is Dawn, by the way, and I'm so thrilled
Nice.
that I'm here to help guide you through this. So once again, creatine monohydrate. So for anyone just joining us, this is a big old word. What does that mean, and why was that important for you to have? I'm going to assume there are different kinds of creatine. What is this?
There are different kinds of creatine, but creatine monohydrate is the most studied and effective form there is. And that's where all the clinical studies come from. 30 years of studies have proven that the creatine monohydrate is the best form of creatine to take, because it's absorbed by your body better. And that's why it brings you all these benefits, the monohydrate. So it's really important that you are taking the creatine monohydrate.
Yeah, one of the key takeaways here is that creatine is not just a muscle supplement. I like to think of it as nutrition for your muscles, your body. It's actually a cellular energy supplement. We talk about how, again, this helps regenerate your ATP. Think about your energy stores almost again like a full charge of a battery, which is what we all want. Think of your cell phone. And certainly not all of us have the same energy levels. We could have two iPhone 17s, and if one is a female and one is a male, brand new, we've got less. Paula,
Yeah.
boy, what a ripoff, eh, for us.
Yeah, I know. Why does that even?
And keep in mind, we need that ATP because it powers all of our biological processes. So the benefits extend to strength, recovery, aging, brain function, longevity, body composition. There are so many studies that talk about the efficacy of creatine supplements to support your ATP, and also on the efficacy of these supplements and the safety of it, and also talking about the importance of this. So thank you for creating such an incredible product, Paula.
My
I do want
pleasure.
I do want to let everybody know again how to get this, because if you're watching on the replay, yes, you can still get this deal. We've created this especially for this Talk Shop Live presentation. So it's available single, right? This is a full month supply. And that's, we're giving you a nice entry level price, but you can get the double, which gives you consistency. We know the consistency is so important, right? Because you could take it now and you go, great, I feel great, but your body needs to stay at that full charge. So
That's
we've
right.
also offered our best value, which is the 3 months, and it works out to be on a saving of about $10 or $11 versus buying 3 individuals. So we wanted to offer that for you. If you're watching on Talk Shop Live, it's as simple as clicking the shop button. That's it. If you're watching on Facebook, Instagram, hi, we see you. You're going to comment shop, and we will send you the DM to link and get this product. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description. Any final notes, Paula? Well, I'm not going to say the last word because I'll say goodbye to everyone, but do you have any final thoughts before we let everyone go today?
Well, I just want to say that creatine is not only for men. That's just a very like common misconception that has had over the years. But like us as women, we benefit much more from taking creatine. I mean, if somebody would have told me, like I used to buy energy drinks, drink a lot of coffee, and that was giving me energy, but it wasn't constant energy. And if I would have known about this supplement before, like I would have started taking it way earlier because as I say, like it's going to support your energy, your cognitive function. It's not just about the gym, and that is intentionally why we made this creatine for all women, so you guys can feel energized throughout your days, no more brain fog, more mental clarity. And yeah, that's what I got to say about this, that everyone should be taking it.
Yeah, and even just to like reiterate too, you talk about taking coffee for energy, but coffee doesn't do all the things creatine does. Creatine might do some of what coffee does, but coffee doesn't do everything that creatine does.
That's
Creatine
right.
might creatine or coffee might offer also a surge of energy because of caffeine. Let's also forget not everyone can do caffeine, and it doesn't do again all of the things like again the muscle support, helping with your age related muscle loss, supporting your bone density, and improving functional strength. So keep in mind, everything that we're replenishing is so that we can live life. Like if we break it down right there, it's so that we can literally live life to its absolute fullest. So as you look at what you're putting in your body, really thinking about the high quality. So once again, creatine monohydrate. This is, by the way, vegan, non-GMO, third party tested. And Isabel said it exactly right, is the gold standard to have that third party testing with
Right.
thousands of reviews talking about the importance of creatine for our body and our cognitive health, our physical health, and overall well-being, especially as women. Thank you so much, Paula, for having me. And what a great product you've created. I look forward to finishing. I look forward to finishing my dose, which you can see, beautiful. Tastes less, meaning you can just put it in whatever you want or drink it with your water, but couldn't be easier to charge up that battery. That's what we need, Paula.
That's right, Dawn. Yeah, so don't forget to be taking it every day so you can see the full benefits, all right?
Beautiful. Go ahead and hit leave show, and we'll say goodbye to everyone, and we'll
Thank you so much. Thank you
see you
so much
next
for having
time.
me.
Bye,
See you next time,
everybody.
Dawn. Bye bye.